Greetings everyone. So yeah, it's Sunday and that means it's live streaming time, and this is Meshmen Studio and the Mora channel. So yeah, today we're gonna take a look at some news and continue to work on my project. And let's take a coffee together first here and wait until people come on to the live stream. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. We will cover visual effects, texturing, look development, cinematography, and similar subjects. So this is an Australian coffee. It's a very good blend today. So yeah, I recently just came back here from a cast and crew screening of Justice League. It's very difficult to see something that you worked on for a year and all these shots, they just go by in a blink of a second. So that's that's interesting. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun. So let's dive into this the news section. So Renderman just released 21.6. So I'm gonna take a look at some of the new features here. So let's go back here and see. We have this, let's go there, learn more, Renderman 21.6. So we can see here on in the release notes, for example here. So I was looking at clearcoat the other day, and one of the features I really missed from the there's people in chat. One of the features I really missed from the LM shader that didn't exist until now in the pxrSurface was the clear coat thickness, and I requested this on the forum, and they said they're gonna implement it, and now they have done that. So that's make me happy, because the thickness attribute on the clear coat makes it really easy to make car paint and these kind of like varnishes, and that's something we can just take a quick look at here before I start to texture my stuff in Mori. So that's probably the most exciting release, and except bug fixes. And I guess something that's also interesting for me is there's something here about UDIMs. Significant performance increase for UDIM textures when many textures are in one direction. That's gonna be interesting to see, because yeah, I use a lot of UDIMs, and so yeah. Let's dive into Renderman and see what we have here. So let's close this. So I just downloaded 21.6, and I also installed now 2018 of Maya, because 21.5 only worked on 2017. So now with 21.6 I can load it onto Maya 2018. So this is my brand new install from today. So first off, let's just create an HDR, so we have something here, so then we can take a look at the whole process of the actual clear coat. So let's make a quick car paint material or something. Outdoor, maybe. Let's take the George, for example. That's one of my HDRs. Let's apply a pxrSurface and just fire the IPR there and see what happens. I should actually turn on visibility on let's fire up again with the background so we can have something to judge against. It's very hard to see what you're doing when everything is black. Maybe 3.5 in exposure on this one. So first off, let's create a some kind of, let's say we're gonna do some kind of hot rod clear coat or lacquer on this. Then we want to maybe just do like a golden base and have a clear coat on top. So let's select the shader here and go to let's take specular physical, just increase here, and let's create a let's say 5 in refraction index or something here. Let's create a GGX model on the specular, so it doesn't look so cool at the moment. Can start to increase the saturation and take something. So when it's physical, it's gonna be, you don't, if you want to make something that's gold, you kind of take the opposite in the color range. Let's take Xdish. Just take something here. Let's create a kind of a broad roughness. So I just want some kind of deep base here in before I apply my clear coat. So let's take a look at the clear coat. So Tigran is in the house. Hello Tigran. It's in the chat. There's starting to pop out people here. So yeah, here we have some kind of golden color, and now we want to apply the clear coat. Let's actually take my hypershade here. So I made a similar shader before here, but let's take my pxrSurface. So this is my new one. Okay, clear coat, here we go. So to be able to use the thickness, it must be physical mode. So we have the artistic and the physical. So let's do the physical. And then we have the thickness and absorption tint, and that's kind of what we can play with. So just apply a clear coat here first. And set that's fine. So what we can do, we can take the absorption tint here. So if I tint this to something that has some kind of color in it, then we can play with the thickness slider. So the thicker I'm gonna make this varnish type of thing, the more the underlying coat is gonna be it's more like a thicker tinted layer on top of the actual surface. So let's zoom in here. So a car paint is sometimes, if you look at it, can be like 2 colors. So let's create like a 2-toned clear coat, so we get some kind of different colors from different angles. So let's Let's create a Pixar facing ratio and a blend. And so I want to blend two colors here, the bottom color, so let's take like a red-ish color, and the top maybe something green, and the result float into the top alpha. And let's pump this into, so I have to filter now because I have a lot of clear coat. So now we filter all the clear coat attributes, so I want to take my result RGB and plug it into absorption tint. And here we have like a two-toned kind of clear coat going on. So let's zoom around here. So all the grazing angles gonna have like a red tint, and everything that's towards the camera is gonna have a green tint. And now we can control the strength of this in my clear coat thickness. So let's try this. So 0 is gonna be my golden, let's tweak this a bit here. There we go. And go down to the clear coat again. There we go. Just pump it up. So now we can, with my facing ratio here, can play with the gamma. So if I pump up the gamma, it's gonna be, this is kind of the threshold between the two colors. Let's try some other colors here to see what we have. Yeah. So yeah, that's I really like the clear coat thickness. It gives a nicer impression of varnishes and stuff like that. So we have a question in the chat. Any tips on how to set up a Mori shader so it works with pxrSurface? Yeah, that's is that you, Rockstar, from the Eugene? Is that you? So there's a Rockstar in the Renderman forum. So so the Mori shader, we don't have a really the same shaders. I usually use a AI. Yeah, so it was, hello, welcome. So yeah, I can show you the most equivalent in Mori, I guess. So here we have the clear coat going, and I guess we could if you want to be fancy now, maybe take a flake, Pixar flakes, and use that into our specular. Let's disable the clear coat first, so we have something here. Where is it? And do something with my roughness here. Okay. Primary speculars. I want to bump the primary specular here. So specular, let's abort this just temporarily while I rehook up this specular. Where is it? There we go. Specular bump normal. So I want to take the result normal into the specular bump there. So let's see what we got. And now start to IPR this and play with the flake. Let's see. I'm just madly doing stuff now. Let's see if we can get something. So sometimes this is a little of a guessing game to get the right size of the flakes. Here we have flake size. Let's increase this to something bigger just to see it. Might have to converge a bit here. Let's see if we can get something interesting. Yeah, we have at least flakes here. They're gonna. If we now mess with the clear coat, might see those like very toned down. Let's create that and go to the yeah, now we have some kind of flaky core paint material going on there. Let's hide this. So yeah, that's kind of a useful thing there. And there was another thing that they released, not as interesting maybe, but anyway. Let's see, it was environmental daylight. Has some new features. So we have the legacy ground mode here, and then we have two new modes here, horizon clamping and diffuse ground. So let's try the diffuse ground here. And then we get a diffuse ground color. Let's take camera visibility on here as well. So this was the legacy. This one, I haven't really tried it that much. And diffuse ground is gonna be a ground color. I got it to work before. Let's see if I render this. Strange. Let's go to, oops. Oh, here we go. I had use direction. So now we can tint this to something to mimic. I don't really use the Pixar daylight that much, to be honest. Let's say that it's June. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into Mari and start to look at the shader. So Eugene, he asked about the pxrSurface and the shader I use in Mari, and I kind of use the Arnold one. First off, let's take a look at Pete Patterson's and his paint along project. So on the last time, I think this is where we take a look the last time. So he's been starting to do some kind of welding seams here as well, similar to what I did. And yeah, he's going full on here with the crazy Loch Ness theme here. That's funny. So yeah, let's take Mari for a spin now. Hello, Axier Ramos. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he's in the chat as well here. Let's open this one. So yeah, what I use for my to preview stuff. So essentially in Mari 4 we have we can open Mari 4 and take a look at the shader there instead. Because we actually have a Disney one, but it's the principal BRDF, and it's kind of different than the pxrSurface. So, but it is the one that I think Pixar still has it around. Let me just close this and open the latest open beta here of the. Oh, there we go. The new Mari 4. Okay, so let's open a Mari 4 project. So I have what's going on. I think I opened it twice actually. Yeah. Okay. Trigger happy. I didn't know you can open it twice. Okay, I just have to quit this now. I double click 2 times. Yeah, so one of the drawbacks at the moment with Mari 4, that's kind of why I'm not really using it that much at the moment, is this reason. There is no extension pack for Mari 4 at the moment. Okay, let's see, this is a Mari 4 project, yeah. So here we have, let's take another HDR here. Take the same that we had before when I was doing the shader stuff in Renderman. HDR. Let's take the George, the pub around the corner from where I work. And then we have some shaders here. So this case, it's the principal BRDF. So let's dock this. And this one has metallic sliders and specular. So let's kill this one and recreate it. Principal BRDF, and just take no color. I have to have one color actually. It doesn't have a base color. Let's it's this funny, it's still there, it's a bug in the open beta. You can't select, you have to filter on it at the moment. Okay, so here we have the base color, and if I set it to metallic, it's gonna respond as a metallic surface. So this is now it's a non-conductor or whatever it's called, and it takes the specular color from the diffuse color and blends it in with a metal. See if I make this very, now it's gonna look like it's some kind of metallic. So this one we can use, but it doesn't really match the pxrSurface. So I usually use the, where is it, AI standard actually, and set my diffuse to, let's take base color, and set it to where is that? They have reshuffled some of this stuff here. Set the diffuse weight to 1, and then I increase the specular weight to 1 and set my Fresnel. Then we have the roughness here. It's not gonna match, but you get a preview at least. So let's hook up the specular roughness, for example, and roughness. Yeah, now this one is, and then we have like the weight of the specularity. I usually reflectance at normal. I map this one. So let's do that. Specular reflectors at normal, and specular. So this one, when I do this, it's not gonna match, but I at least get a preview of roughness, specularity, similar to what I get from the pxrSurface. So I really hope we get a support for a pxrSurface in Mari, because the principal BRDF is not really the way I texture, the way this one is laid out. And I also heard, I think somewhere on the Renderman forum, that I'm not sure if it's gonna be staying around in the actual distribution that long. So yeah. Okay. Let's jump out from Mari 4 and into Mari 3.3, where I actually have my project going for the moment. Anyone seen Justice League? I think it had premiere on Friday, I think. So yeah, it was a cast and crew screening today, and I worked almost a year on that movie. It was quite fun. A lot of destruction and stuff. So I thought I double clicked on it. I didn't. And also I'm very interested in this. Anyone using Wacom and stuff? So I have an Intuos Cintiq. I don't use it that much with my Mari, because it's a little troublesome to get all the settings correctly. But 2D painting is awesome. But now there's an interesting new pen here that looks kind of cool. That's something I would like to take a look at. So it's like a built-in 3D it's movement, rotate, and orbit and stuff built into, so you can map it onto the actual pen, and that looks cool. I would like to try ZBrush and see if I can get Mari to work with this. So I will try to get my hands on one of these and try it out and see if it's something that's useful for Mari purpose. Okay, so here we have my project. And what should we do? So I was working on, I was working on the tires, the rubber. I just don't feel this is quite, I want to break it up further. So let's take a look at my dirt mask. Let's see here. Just wanna check my so we have a question in the chat. Any ideas when the extension pack will be done for Mari 4? So for what I heard from Jens that creates the extension pack, it's gonna be quite some time, because there's a lot of changes and stuff that needs to be addressed before he can do that. So, but yeah, usually Jens is hanging out here in the live stream and he could have answered that question. Let's see, my histogram scan, maybe that's one of the purposes. Let's see here. Just gonna take a look here. If I disable the histogram scan, maybe it's too crunched. Let's see what happens. Ah, there we have another one. Ah, this one. Okay, I'm just gonna check here. Okay, this one. Gonna bypass the histogram scan into there. Cheers. See you. Okay, I'm just gonna go to my oh, I lost my bookmarks shortcut. Let's see here. It's still something with the whole shortcuts being lost. Thought it was fixed, but yeah, I keep losing my shortcuts. Let's take a look here now. Dirt mask. So yeah, I had some troubles with that mask being way too contrasty, so I think I'm just gonna do a check here if I make a simple input switch. If I want to try something, for example, I can take case A and case B and pipe it into there. And then I have yeah. So what a simple input switch is doing, and let's create one. So it's just a simple switch with a button. So if I have something I want to compare between two things here, or maybe some conditional things, I just have this button here. So now it takes, in one case it takes the output direct from the node, and in the other case it takes it after this histogram scan node, and then I pipe it into here. So I actually think, yeah, this histogram scan node was way too crunchy, so doing it like that looks more natural. So yeah, let's take this one and scrap this one as well. Let's take a look at my This is interesting. Doesn't matter at the moment because that one is glass in the end, but let's examine actually why. It's probably my metal mask. I'm just gonna understand why my lamp. Okay, so it's in the mask. Okay, that's why. Just gonna go to that ISO, so I have this jump to node input. So it's this one. Where does it come from? I must have okay, here we go. Just gonna fix this. Let's go back to my call. So now it should be a correct lamp fixture there. Just gonna go into the, yeah, so it was that mask there. I forgot the other lamp there. Evening, Pete. We looked at so Pete is in the chat. So we looked at your community project. We can go back to it if you wanna say something about it in the chat. Let's go there. I'll take this one just to and chat on, and let's take your community project so people in the rerun can see what you're up to here. So Pete Patterson, here's his let's see if we can get his URL there. scarcarbonmade.com. So you're working here on general distress, and I saw that you started to work on this, right? The displacement, and yeah. Yeah, so he says he doesn't have that much time. That's fine. It's just interesting to see. So what team is it? This one. It's a Team Loch Ness. Yeah, well, Alpha, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's dive back into Mari and work on my stuff here. So yeah, I think that took away some of the really strange issues with that rubber mask there. At least it doesn't look that crunchy anymore. Now it just looks dirty in general, not super crunchy. Let's go. I want to do something about the dirt color now. Guess I could just add some different values to this here and there. Let's take the body. Oops. Okay, so great body. Just gonna deselect here. Just give me a second. I should probably just do some kind of yeah, I think I do that. I'm gonna bake a bake point here, yeah, so it becomes a bit faster to work with this channel. So because at the moment if I select stuff it's kind of slow because it has to calculate everything and do stuff like that. So if I take this and go to MISC, or is it file, edit, bake points, bake selected. I could have hit that button as well, but yeah. There's a few more operations available under that menu there. You can bake in successive order. Oh, I didn't. Might be. I'm not sure what resolution I actually baked it into now. Let's see if I can abort. Let's give it a second. I might have baked it in 512 pixels or something. I'm gonna redo this. I didn't pay attention what resolution I did there before I just bake it. I wanna know what I'm doing. Bake point. Okay, it was 4K. Let's, for this purpose, this is not a production asset, so I'm going a little on the cheap side here in resolution, just to get some speed while I do this on the fly. Usually when I do production assets, I do stuff in 4K and in some cases 8K. So yeah, but 8K and 4K when it comes to bake point nodes can be really expensive when it comes to the time it takes to bake. So yeah, I think on Wednesday I'm not gonna go live, but I will release a UI tutorial for Mori 4 instead. So I will mix it up. I will not go live. It's gonna be Wednesday and Sunday is the main days when I post stuff in regular schedule. So yeah, on Wednesday there's gonna be the UI Mori 4. It's more a comparison between Mori 3 and 4, what's new, looking into some of the features. And after that I'm working actually on some kind of material stuff. And so I already released the Mega Scan. We're gonna take a deeper look at the Mega Scan tab and stuff related to that. So I'm just gonna add some extra color breakup to this. And let's take, actually let's take, see if I have something from Megascan I can use, some kind of dirt, sand. So I don't have the Megascan loader now, so I have to go to the actual project. Take a look. My repository, Megascan. Let's take soil. I can use that one. Or have I already loaded it? Yeah, I already loaded it. Okay, so now I wish I had the Mori 4 actually, because there's some nice features with the space. You can maximize your workspace. Let's see, I have to reset my paint buffer. That's something annoying when you have things docked into your interface here in Mori 3. That the paint buffer usually have to be reset when you do stuff like this. And I'm just gonna go up to this location, look at it in context, and see if I can get speed still here while painting down there. Dirt, material. And let's say no stencil. Just want some of these colors. Actually, I'm gonna bake my dirt mask as well. Just gonna do a bake point. Actually, I have a bake point here. I can just enable it and rebake it. I do it after my brightness lookup. So this is just to get some speed, because the dirt material, or the dirt mask, is actually very, it's a lot of things going on there from different parts of the comp. See, if I bake it down, it's gonna be a lot quicker to do this. Just give it a second here. %. Come on. Some water. So the map generation and all of this has been sped up, I think, in Mori 4. So yeah, I hope it's the same speed as baking normally, because this is kind of slow in Mori 3.3. Let's see. Yeah, now it's super fast. Let's take some organic brushes here. Just gonna work in some different values here. Let's also put the repeat on this. I just wanna introduce some shifts here and there onto the dirt. So we have a question here from Pete. So the paint node you have just added for the dirt painting had an alpha value. Let's take a look at my my paint node. So I made a transparent paint node. Here it is. So let's look at the paint node itself. It's transparent. Oops, there we see when I didn't have the repeat on. I have to check that. So it's just gonna add on top here. So this is like making a layer in Mari without any. This is what Mari does in the layer stack. When you create new layer, it's gonna add it with transparency. So, and you do that when you make a node. You have this color, and if you have this set to 1 here in the transparency slider, it's gonna be solid, and if you drag it down there, it's gonna be fully transparent. Let's go back to oops, I baked something strange into the node there. Okay, I just wanna oops, that's funny. My bookmark just, my shortcut just got reset. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's very strange. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I wasn't over the null graph. There we go. Has to be, so I made it a null graph specific there. Just want to make sure I have that node selected. So now I'm just painting into the actual color. Just temporarily gonna take my isolate my body patches here. Let's take the Terra or something. It has a more sandy breakup. Just gonna follow some of the features here and there to give some breakup within the dirt itself. So I guess next time I will, so it's gonna be next Sunday I will render out a turntable of this and see how it looks when it's offline rendered. In Renderman. So and it's interesting to see, because when you see it turn around and do its thing, you start to really see what's working and not, and like if you need to work on your roughness or things like that. Yeah, so this is just give some additional breakup here and there, so we don't get that uniform one tone everywhere. And this is heavily tied into actually the dirt mask itself. So yeah. Just wanna see here different places where we can get some breakup, tonality changes, etc. So what I could do is also when I could use this layer if I want in the, I might do it later on in the roughness as well. Might do some of the values to tweak the specular roughness a bit, so it have a slightly wetter impression where it's darker. That's something I could play with as well, because I can just broadcast this into my roughness and tweak it. Yeah, so roughness is a very important channel. That's the one I usually try to really work up, because that's gonna be really dictating the surface breakup of things. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I have shaved off awful lot of metal there. I'm not sure if it was intentional. I guess I can see how it looks when I look at this with shaded mode. Let's see, I almost want to grade this a bit. So I guess Pete, if you would be interested to see your roughness and stuff later on. Could probably shave off some dirt there as well. Should take a pass on these tires maybe. Here and there. So my welding, if it was painted, I think actually I used some textures from, what was it called? Surface Mimic. And I think, I'm not sure what bit depth they were actually. But yeah, I'm gonna create my own welding seams in ZBrush and extract. It's my plan to do some of those. It's always handy to have hanging around. So we have a question, will I make a video about painting? Yeah, I might do something like that. Can do could be cool. So I'm relocating to Windsor in January, so That's gonna be interesting. Moving out from London, gonna commute to London. We'll see how that's gonna go. I have to rebuild my studio out there. I kind of have a nice setup now, but yeah, it's gonna be new challenges. But I think I will have a better internet connection actually, so that can be a plus side for my streaming and stuff. I would like to have some kind of joint streams or something with other artists, maybe. It would be interesting. Maybe have like Q&As and stuff with other artists in the future. We'll see. So Nala, my dog, I think she's gonna love it because we get a proper garden where we're moving to, a long green garden that she can run out to. So I think that's gonna be, yeah, Legoland. Yeah, I noticed that there's something out there. I haven't been there, so I guess I have to go and check it out someday. I really, Lego was one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid. And actually I still like Lego. I bought this what's it called, a robot construction kit a few years ago. You can like build your own Lego robots, and that was very fun. Soon it's time to, let's see here how this looks. So Lego is not Swedish, it's from Denmark, so it's but it's close to Sweden. Let's take a look here and zoom out, and I'm gonna just take my node here and enable or disable it and see the change. So the dirt color there is a bit, yeah, it gives it some additional interest, I guess. Let's see what happens if I overlay it. Maybe it's gonna go too saturated. Yeah. Oops. My phone. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look here. What do we have? If I look at this node, what I did to the color now. Let's take a look at it. So it looks kind of, doesn't look so cute here, but with my hold on, I'm just gonna I had to throw out my phone. Kept ringing. Can't have that. Yeah, so where were we? Yeah. Now this is, I added stuff to it, and yeah, it looks kind of patchy, but with the dirt mask here, it's not gonna be visible, really. Let's take a look here. If I rebake this and take a look with my shader, let's go to edit, bake points, bake selected. So it's gonna take a little while here, but it's so while I do that in the background, let's go into the Renderman again and look at some other stuff in the what's new section. See if there's something interesting. So if we look here at the pxrSurface, this is a good example, I guess, of a clear coat and stuff. And let's go, because I was demoing it before, we can see here there's a really good, you can see all of the effects, what they are doing. So here we can see the thickness that they added into the shader, and here's a mapped thickness, so I applied a checker to see the difference here. And this is kind of what I did, something similar with a like a two-tone clear coat scenario. So the pxrSurface is really good documented here, what everything is doing in the documentation. Let's see how many. Yeah, there was a lot of bug fixes and stuff as well. Just let it bake here. I'm just gonna look at this shaded. Yeah, I used the thickness in the Renderman LM shader before they switched to the pxrSurface, and I really liked that, the clear coat thickness. So I was happy when they now incorporated it into the pxrSurface. Let's see here. I wish I had some kind of a pause function, but I can't do it when it's live. I just want this to go a bit faster, but I don't have that massive resolution on my bake points there, so it think it's gone through at least 2/3. Is this one? One to go, I think. Bear with me. So I bought a new book while I bake. This one I really like. Distressed places and abandoned. So that's something I'm collecting a lot of, like books with abandoned places and stuff like that for inspiration. So this one is called Abandoned: The Most Beautiful Forgotten Places from Around the World. That's how it looks. When I bake, I take this down and then I look at pictures to get some inspiration, especially for dirt maps. There's a lot of interesting things in here. I guess most of this it's for free on the internet, but I really like the feel of a book. So I have it on my shelf here, just in reach of my hands. And yeah. Soon my bake points is up to date here. Then we can switch over to my shader. Let's see. Come on, little bake point. So I wish there was some kind of SLI or something for graphics cards sometimes when you have a lot of bake points or bakes in general. So at work, we sometimes when we have a massive channel, it can be exporting a channel. It might take an hour if you're unlucky. Let's say hello to Nala here. Hold on. Nala. So say hello to YouTube Nala. This is my little barky dog. She wants some attention, so say something. Yeah. Wave to YouTube. Okay. Now, let's go here. So yeah, Nala, she will be really happy when we get the backyard. Then I can let her out. Okay, everything updated. Now let's go to my shader and see what we have. So one other thing that will be really interesting is to test. I have a very good graphics card actually, but there's even better things. So, whoa, Not sure what settings I have here. It looks totally crazy. Oh, there we go. It was some kind of... So I guess I have very brutal bump set up here. Let's see, take my lights. Just take my HDR. I'm just gonna go into, yeah, my bump is through the roof here. Let's see, shader, where is it? There it is. Nala, she's funny today. Okay. That's more natural, I guess. Okay, so yeah, now we have some shifts in the dirt. Can be interesting. Can see it there. So I think that's something that was helping a bit to get some different values. Let's take my light and spin the light actually to see the reflection. I wish there was a shortcut to spin the light so I don't have to go into the actual light tab to do that. Could be handy. Time for a feature request, I think, to get that properly documented, because it's a feature that's been very requested on the forums, but I'm not sure if it's actually someone added it as an official request. So yeah, that's how it looks at the moment. So what should we do next? Guess I could work some more on, take some scratches here and there, some deeper scratches in some places. Could do that for a little while. And yeah, let's jump into my scratch mask. So it's the metal mask. Here we have it, my metal mask. Let's see what we have. So one thing with masks, and that's kind of important, when you do stuff in a node graph and you add stuff together, there's a possibility that you get illegal values into your mask, and it's not going to be noticeable, but if I take something here, for example, if I take a cloud and something else, a color, and I start to add things together with merge nodes. So usually it's a good thing to all your masks that's gonna be used. I always put a clamp node before I export them. Because if you have a lot of multiplication grades and stuff, there's a possibility that you introduce something that's above. If I say multiply here, let's see. And take a look here. Wally, yeah, actually, when I modeled this one, I took some inspiration of Wally and I stuck a pair of goggles onto him here. Let's just multiply, and then we do something else. Grade or something. Let's say that we gain it a bit. It's gonna look, yeah, it's gonna look white here, but now if we do something here, we take this eyedropper there, and then we see let's gain it even more here. And let's make a channel, 16-bit something. Okay, so I didn't manage to get something into, let's see here. Now it's working as I expected it to do. Let's see. Oh well, sometimes you get a lot more output from your masks. So always clamp your masks. That's a good tip. Before you export them, or even if you use them internally in Mari, it's good to have a clamp on masks like I have here. Before I use it somewhere, I just put the clamp node onto my mask. Then I know it's not gonna be anything above 1, because if you introduce something above 1, you might start to get strange artifacts. And that's bad. So if you get strange artifacts, just insert a clamp node onto your mask and it will probably go away. Okay, so let's do something. Just wanna make something more, let's see, add scratches. Yes, here. Just want to add some larger stuff here in some places. Like something like that. So I just have to level this now. My source grade. Reset this. Yeah, and let's take luminance. Let's take something that makes sense, like a scuff brush. And inverted, I'm painting with the black values here. So let's see, what do we have? Just wanna have a few bigger ones. Not really the one I'm looking for. Let's see. This one I've used before. I just want something really big. I have to dig out something else in my library. Maybe actually taking this one. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna commit to this. So I'm gonna do a I'm gonna add another layer here just as a test. I want some large area of bare metal here. Going up to this one. Just gonna something like that, maybe. Let's take something here as well. Yes, searching for some places where I can have something of this. I guess it makes more sense on those edges there. Oh, not that one. Okay. Just gonna go to my color out here and take a look before my bake node. So as we can see, all my bake nodes is now out of date again, and that's expected. But I'm not gonna visualize it through. Just wanna see how it looks with the dirt on top. And what I could do is to broadcast. Okay, broadcast those scratches into the dirt mask, so I actually use those as a fresh scratch mask. So I can show you here. If I now take this one, radio transmitter, and call this fresh mask, fresh scratch, and I want to use this in my dirt mask to take away, so it's gonna be here at the end. And radio node, then I'm gonna connect this one. So what I need to do now is to level this one. Oops. And use it here as an over. So this will not only reveal the underlying metal, it will also take away the dirt. So this is like fresh scratches. It's gonna be take away dirt and metal at the same time. So if I now start to add those type of scratches, they will take away dirt and metal. So yeah. And it's gonna be in all of my effects. Let's take a look here at actually, do I have a bake somewhere? Yeah, it's in my dirt mask. I have to check it out. It should work there as well. That's the metal mask. No, it's my dirt mask that needs to... Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So if I rebake my dirt mask and my bake points, it's gonna be updated in all the materials that I have set up. So yeah, that's working. I just have to rebake my bake points. Let's save this, and I think we can call this a day. So on Wednesday it's gonna be a regular tutorial, not a live stream, and the coming Sunday after that it's gonna be another live stream, and then I will have this re-rendered as a turntable. So yeah, let's go to the end screen, and yeah, thanks for hanging out with me here today with my node graph tutorial and the Renderman part. So yeah, if you see this on the rerun, consider subscribing and hit the bell notification, because then you will get notified whenever I go live and you won't miss anything. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and once again, happy painting, and see you in the next live stream or tutorial. And yeah, bye bye.